How did a bunch of choir boys plan to drive Hitler mad? We've been very literal there. There's Hitler in a straitjacket.
It's a plot. I do know this.
Yeah.
Porn.
Pornography.
Pornography. They were going to drive him mad with pornography.
That's absolutely right.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
They had groups called the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Who were behind enemy lines, and the choir boys were the people in Washington.
That's
and they
right.
came up with bonkers ideas.
All kinds of suggestions. I mean, a lot we did too, bouncing bombs, ridiculous, and yet that was one that worked. And Churchill chose the date precisely in May 1943, when the floods were at their full height in the dams, and he was in Washington, so that if it worked, he could announce it. And it would be the first real invasion into German territory that caused a massive difference. And Lord Charwell, his scientific advisor, said to him reportedly, but what if it doesn't work? And Churchill said, then no one will ever hear anything about it. And that's the point about these mad schemes. There were all these kind of, you know, really zany plans, but most of them we don't know about, and a lot of them were covered up, and probably we never will. We know about the ones that work.
But this
is one that didn't work, but we do know about.
Wasn't it? It was smut. They were going to drop
Basically, it's pornography.
Smut, all over Germany.
Well, particularly to drive Hitler mad over Berchtesgaden, where his residence.
So leaflets were going to cascade down.
And it was going to drive him mad.
Absolutely. The US Army Air Corps described it as insane and refused to do it. But it did have an important role to play, pornography. And, of course, these were ones that the Germans dropped on the Allies, because they did the same thing. Germans and Japanese. We didn't have much of a porno war effort in Britain. We were squeamish, the senior officers. One was quoted saying he would rather lose the war than take part, which is extraordinary. Air Marshal Sir Arthur Bomber Harris didn't approve, said it was just like sending them free lavatory paper.
What does it say about our troops, that the German troops were willing to drop the pornography, and I was like, going, well, I'm not giving it away. Keep
I
it,
like
Frank.
to think it was a more decent reason than that, Johnny.
We'll sell it when we get back.
Dropping leaflets was a big thing. The first the Danes knew of the Germans invading, really, was that the leaflets...
Yes, leaflet dropping generally was
a
huge thing. Absolutely right. It was what called a sort of black op, I suppose we'd call now.
Do you know, you must know, Stephen, about the eavesdropping cat that the CIA came up with, which is the most brilliant idea. They got this cat and they inserted a transmitter, and the aerial was in its tail. And this was in Moscow. And the idea was that it would walk past Russian spies sitting on a bench, and it would overhear. And they spent millions on this cat. And it was terrific, and they'd worked it all out. And on its very first outing in the park, it got hit by a taxi.
It was known as Acoustic Kitty.
That's right, Acoustic
Kitty. Yeah, poor Acoustic Kitty.
The bouncing bomb would be a war crime now, wouldn't it? For the civilians killed.
There were a lot of civilians killed. I don't know if it was a legitimate war target or not. In total war, really, I don't think it was.
Since they've agreed.
There was a very good story I came across when I was writing a script of the Dam Busters. And there was one of the members of one of the crews which crashed after dropping its bomb and was picked up by the Germans. And they were treated pretty well. And one of them said, what do you need? You know, according to the laws of the Geneva Convention, are you thirsty or hungry? I said, a glass of water would be lovely. And he said, are you joking? You have just destroyed our water supply. And that was the first time the guy realised that one of the bombs had actually worked. And that's how he found out that the Myrna had gone, was he was saying there is no water, which is quite sweet in its own peculiar way. Anyway, one mad idea to bring the war was to use pornography to drive Hitler mad, as if he wasn't already.